Ancient prophecies, global events, and your future, the next superpower. Ancient prophecies, what has happened in the past, global events, what's now happening in the world, and your future. Is there really a future for us in a world that everything is turned upside down? And in 1945, a few archaeologists went to the Dead Sea area to go search for the places of Sodom and Gomorrah, to see whether the Bible was accurate with the destruction of those places or whether it was so at all. And the shepherd was tending his sheep in that very same area, and one of his sheep got lost. So he was walking around, and into those caves, he was throwing rocks into all those caves. He heard something break when he threw the rocks into the caves, and he went and told the archaeologists about that. Now they went into those caves, and they found something far more than treasure. They found what we today call the Dead Sea Scrolls, the ancient scrolls. Now, Isaiah is a book written 2,500 years before 1945. And they opened up the scroll and they said, it's 6 meters long, and they compared it to the Greek Old Testament, and they found that the book of Isaiah was written exactly word by word the same over the last 2,500 years. So the writer, Dr. Mark Finley, makes the point right in the beginning of the book, and he says that the Bible has been a book that we can trust. It's a book that has proved itself and is journeying over time. And if we look at the Mayans calendar and those type of things, that ended in 2012, we know that that's not accurate. Or neither the Jehovah's Witness prophecies. But the Bible goes into a specific prophecy when it goes to the book of Daniel. Now, as you see, the king had a dream, and he forgot completely about the dream. Daniel went to him and he said to him, "Don't worry about it. I'll go to my God, and he will make known to me the interpretation plus the dream." So he went and he slept, and the next morning he went to the king, and he said, "This is the image my God has revealed to me, the dream." In the dream, there was an image, and he explained to the king exactly what happened there. The image, the head of gold, was the first kingdom, and that is you. Now, as you look here, you'll see that it explains Daniel 2, verse 4, Daniel 2, verse 9, and it takes the Bible text verse by verse and explains everything. Verse 31 to 35, verse 37 to 38. And the first kingdom that's described here was the Babylonian Kingdom from 605 to 539 before Christ. What happened in that specific kingdom and the times there? And Nebuchadnezzar looking over the kingdom, and he said, "Isn't this a beautiful Babylon that I built?" And the Lord said to him, "Your kingdom will end." And he ended, and he was eating grass for 7 years. And eventually his kingdom ended. Then the next kingdom was the Medo-Persian kingdom from 539 to 331 before Christ. The writing on the wall, which means many, many tekel saying, "You were counted and found wanting. Your kingdom will be taken away from you and given to someone else." So it takes the Bible text verses plus the history of the kingdoms and place it all nicely in perspective and said, the Bible has proved itself a book that we can trust. Now, Daniel gets a lot of images and dreams, and the angel every time comes back to Daniel and he says to him, "Daniel, you don't have to worry. This is what it means, and this is the time that it's showing to." But when we look at the book of Revelation, it's a book that's very, very interesting. John is on Patmos Island, and he gets all these visions and everything, but nothing is explained to him, just a few details here and there. Now, many people read the book of Revelation and they are scared, and they say it's not meant to understand, but it's the revelation of Jesus Christ. Revelation 1 verse 3 says, "Blessed is he that read the books or words of this book." It's something for us meant to be understood, and something that will bless us as we read it. But why didn't the Bible give us, or the book of Revelation, give us a lot of detail on explaining itself? The reason is God wanted us to read through the entire Bible to get to the book of Revelation, to find those meanings in the book of Revelation. Now, on this page, you'll see there's a table that's drawn up with all the symbolism, the explanation of the symbolism, and the text verse where it is found in the Bible. You'll see, for instance, that waters is people, and that is found in Revelation. Winds is war and conflict, and that comes from Jeremiah. A beast is a king or a kingdom, and that's from the book of Daniel. Now, a pure woman is God's church or his faithful followers. And we read this even in the Gospels where it says that Jesus is coming to fetch his bride. He's coming to fetch his children. And then we understand exactly what it means because all the symbolism is explained in the Bible. And when you get to that specific symbolism in the book of Revelation, you know what it means. And it unlocks the book of Revelation. Now, something that's very important that we have to remember when we get to Revelation, there's so many different interpretations of what is the mark of that beast. But what's more important for us to understand is what is the seal of God? It's like a 10 rand. You know, you take a 10 rand and you say, how do you know this is a false 10 rand or a true one? If you studied the true one, you will know what the false one is. And this explains to you what is the seal of God, far more important than what is the mark of the beast. And it will show how they oppose each other. Very interesting indeed. And as we go to the last few chapters of this book, we see that in Matthew 24, Jesus says that in the end of time there will be rumors of wars and all these different things. But that will only be the beginning of the end. But Revelation adds a little bit more information to show us the final shutdown, what will happen when Jesus will return. And adds a little bit of more hope for us in this time that we are living in. Then it comes to 1,000 years of peace, the millennium, Revelation 21. Where will we be? What will happen? What will the state of the earth be in when we get to that time? And it ends up with the title of the book, Living Under the Next Superpower on a New Earth, where Jesus is king and there's no more pain and heartache and all those type of things. And that's the next superpower. And this good book can be yours today for only 270 Rand.
Afternoon. I'm from Home Health. I'm Home Health Education Service. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, ne? I beg your pardon. I'm sorry. My name is Sepio. I'm here to present the next superpower. Have you ever wondered who wrote the Bible? Have you ever wondered how many books are found in the Bible? I'm here to present the book, The Next Superpower. Have you ever wondered whether the people who wrote this Bible, was there any prophets that prophesied that the book has to be written? In this book, we find two prophecies that prophesied about anything that is now taking place in this world. We find the two books which are in the Bible, Daniel and the Revelation. So the next superpower that I'm here to present about is about Daniel and Revelation. It's one book that is composed. Daniel and the Revelation are the prophecies. You find in Daniel, you find a king who had a dream. Then you can ask yourself also whether the Bible, is it a true story or it's not a true story. The Bible talks about, this book talks about the past, the present, and the future. The design about this book, it shows the entire world map. The picture of the book, it shows a fire that will destroy the whole world. The name of the book, the title of the book, it suggests a specific individual, which is written in bold letters. The picture, it shows the author of the book, which is Mark Vin. Then inside the book, we get the illustrations, pictures that help you to understand better. You find a statue, a woman sitting on the beast and on the moon. Then the chapters. We find a table of contents which has got 17 chapters, which talks about superstition, and it also helps you how to understand about the prophecies. There are titles of the chapters as well that will help you to start the Bible. Then the benefits of the practical benefits, it will help you to start the Bible very easy. Follow the table contents very easy. The cover is very durable, easily illustrated, and you follow it very well. It also, there is a chapter that gives hope about life. It also explains about the prophecies of Daniel and Revelation. It is also soul winning. It also saves time to read Daniel and the Revelation. And it also tells you, have you ever wondered why people are crying? Why is there so many pain in this world? Why are so people lovers of money? Why are there so wars, any famine? Why are so people sick? Why are so any incurable diseases? This book also gives you hope that there is life. Where are our beloved ones? Is there any life after death? All we get it in this book. And this book, you read it along with the Bible. A Bible, all what you need in the Bible is a treasure book. All what you need is to search the scriptures only. May the Lord bless you. Bye.
Thank you.
Hi, sir.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. My name is Susan. I'm from Home Health Education Service. First, I just want to thank you for allowing me to come to your house.
You're welcome, Susan.
Yes, I'm so grateful about that. I just brought here good news for you. If I may ask, do you love history?
Yeah, I didn't used to, but now I do.
You do.
Yes.
Then that makes two of us. You know, I want to present to you the book that is called The Next Superpower. This book was written by a dynamic speaker and a devotional person, and she is a well-known writer. This person is a Christian. He also conducts some seminars all over the world. She is very intelligent. He has actually written so many books. So now I just want to give you a hint of what he has done, because there are lots of books that he has written. In this one, the Next Superpower, he combines two books of the Bible. You know, do you read the Bible?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay, that's nice. In the Bible, you see, the Bible has got some chapters, like some books of the Bible, like two of them that are very difficult for most people to read. And if I'm so, you know, it makes me sad that even pastors, they avoid these chapters. This is the book of Revelation and the book of Daniel. Somehow they just avoid them because this book requires you to study. Actually, you cannot read it like a novel.
Revelation is a difficult book to understand.
Yeah, that's one. So he combined these two, and then he writes it in a very clear language that even a primary school child can understand because of his intelligence. Okay, now in 1945, a few archaeologists went to an expedition to the Dead Sea area to search for the sites of Sodom and Gomorrah. Do you know anything about that? Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
okay.
remember.
To find out whether the Bible is accurate about the destruction of the cities and whether it is true. You know, it's good. You know, you must not believe anything. You must read for yourself. You must not depend on one thing. So, these archaeologists, that's what they did. And then it happened sometime that a shepherd in the same area was looking for his lost sheep. And then he just threw a stone to the cave, and then there was a bang. And then this boy thought, you know what, I mean, maybe there is a treasure there. And then he told the archaeologists, and then the archaeologists went there. Guess what they found there? They found what is called the Dead Sea Scroll. And the Dead Sea Scroll.
Okay.
So, this we can find in chapter 9. You can open while I tell you, so that you can see what I'm talking about. They found this. Death Scroll. Okay. So the author makes the point in the beginning of the book that the hand of the Lord was always there with the translation of the Bible, because you know what they found about this scroll. They found a big scroll. It says it's about 2.5. It has existed for like 2,500 years, and it's about 6 meters, and it contains the book of Isaiah. So when they compared this scroll and the Bible, they found that, you know, it's the message there is just the same. So Isaiah is one book of the Bible which they found in the scroll that contains some information that you can find in the book of Isaiah, which is true. And 2 Peter 2, 1 verse 20 says that no prophecy of the scripture is of private interpretation. You know, when God says something, it's for us to understand, because if we cannot understand the word of God, then we are not going to do anything to prepare for ourselves. We need to prepare. For you to be able to prepare, you must be knowing. And
So,
then
excuse-
on your book there.
Where does it specifically talks about Revelation? Can
Oh, okay. Revelation, if you can go to, okay, I was going to mention it on the right chapter of the, towards the end of that chapter. It's Revelation 21. It's in page, is it 253?
Let me see.
Yeah.
253.
Yeah, but that is towards towards of his
Right,
his book.
this is what I'm interested in.
Yeah, you know, he talks about, you know, like I told you that he talks about history. These two books, they talk about history, what happened before and today, and what is going to take place. So this is all about our life. We need to know about our salvation. Where are we going after death? What is it going to happen? And also, in chapter 36, there was a king called Nebuchadnezzar, and then this king had a dream. And then this king, he had a dream, and then somehow he forgot the dream. And then he was looking for people to explain, only to find that there was no one in his kingdom except for Daniel. So Daniel, if you can check there at page 36, that's when you will see this image.
Okay.
Yeah, it actually is it symbolizes all the kingdom that took place there, of which one the first one was Babylon going down there. So it's all history. Some of them, they are already done. And then at the last, at the tours of, it talks about the clay.
Okay.
That was clay and iron. This kingdom, those will be the 10 kingdoms that will last just towards the end, the second coming of Christ. So if you can read this book, you can see now you just gave me 5 minutes. But I'm telling you, if you can have this book for yourself, you'll be able to understand each and every prophecy, what this writer wants to bring to you. And I'm sure even your pastor, are you a Christian?
Yes.
You know, I think this is the good books for pastors, because most pastors, they avoid these chapters because they don't understand. But this one now, it makes it simple for them to understand.
I'm a man that sometimes, you know, I tend to lose track because, you know, when I'm reading, I cannot listen at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking at this, and it talks about Revelation, and this is very interesting. And can you add a little bit more on that?
Okay, yeah. Coming to Revelation now, Revelation chapter 21. It now talks about Jesus wiping the tears of people, which means people are mourning now. We are losing our loved ones, but this time will pass, and then Jesus will come and take us home. But he will only take those who are ready for him. Those who are not ready, they will remain dead until the 1,000 years. So it actually it talks about what is going to take place when Jesus comes. Yeah.
Okay. This sounds very interesting. How much is this book?
You know, this book is, I mean, like I told you, if I had to give you 2 of these books, you'll pay something like close to 1,000 rand. But this one, the author has just made it easy for everyone to afford it. You can just get it for 300 rand.
Okay.
But containing only 2 books.
Okay. I'm going to take 2 of them because I want one for my friend.
Perfect. I
Okay.
knew from start that you love the book. And and I'm sure even your friends will. I mean, since you are buying 2 books, I promise you, the person who will read this book and understand will pass it on to another person. You know what you'll have done? You'll have also sent the ministry. You are also evangelizing with this book. You see,
Oh, yes.
now you are also helping this ministry. It's so
Thank you.
good. I'm so happy
Thank
to
you.
have a person like you.
I'll give you cash.
Okay, so you cash. Oh,
Yes.
that's nice.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Commenting on Next Superpower, what did you notice and what comments are there? If you can remember. Tokozisi?
One aspect I just wanted to point out to all of us is that selling is not telling, it's asking. Sometimes we go in front of the client or the prospect with the aim to tell the prospect all the knowledge that we have. But in actual fact, our greatest important task is to find the need of the prospect. And there's no way you can probe the need without asking. So even in the journey of our presentations, let's consider that.
I do realize that the presentation that I give is more telling than really asking. But when it comes to the last 3 chapters, I was asking more questions. Will there, Jesus is coming. Is there hope for us? The millennium, where will we be? So it comes closer to the end. But what we have to remember, what he says is very important. Selling is not telling. We cannot just tell people and then expect them. Because if you ask them questions, you draw them into the conversation. All right? Before we ever present books, what I have is what I call a pre-canvas presentation. So you get people ready, but before you even do that, you just sit and talk with the people and find out what do they do for work, what habits, what hobbies do they have, and so on. Just to get, they'll talk. Eventually, they'll talk and they'll tell you. And before you even open your books, they'll tell you things that you are going to present to them in your books, if you are aware of that. Okay. Any other questions? Comments?
There is one thing which I realized, which was happening yesterday, even this morning. We had presentations. We had one to present, but now when the illustration comes, the presentation part dies, because I hardly had people explaining, all right, the design of the book. That is closey, it's easy to clean. It's like when you are presenting, when you are in front of the customer, all that fades away. And you speak something else. You are not sticking to so maybe we should look at that to say, when we are in front of the clients, when we are having the client literally, that's what we now have to specialize on, the contents, the design, the chapter flow, because it was hardly done there
With
in
this
front.
book, yes. Yes, we didn't mention anything in the presentation, and in my presentation self, I don't mention anything. When I do present the family Bible, what I do is I tell people that the gold outside is actually 21 karat gold. Did you know that? I went to, I'm just talking about that. I talk about that, and I tell the people, but what's more valuable is what's inside the Bible. So I can focus a lot on the book, and the Next Superpower is not, it's a hardcover book, and it's got good images in it, and it, but the message, what I found in this book specifically, is what's very important. Doesn't matter if it's a soft cover or a paper bound or whatever. The message is important, and we focus on that. We can add that. You can add that into your presentation. Yes, it will add value. And the more value you add, the more worthless the money become, and they are willing to give you their money for the book. It's a good point. Someone else?
I think think if I can respond to what he's saying, when you are selling a book, there's many other dynamics which come. There are people who look at the facts. Then your focus will be on the facts. There are people who you need to appeal to their emotions.
Yes.
So you'll take, myself, I hardly take 5 minutes to sell a book. I use my personality. So I'm not focused so much on facts, benefits. The moment people like me, they have bought my book. So you don't expect a presentation to follow all those steps. It will vary from one person to another as well.
Mhm.